This is English for Daily Living, a program geared towards helping non-native speakers of English develop their listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills.
Welcome to another presentation of English for Daily Living. English for Daily Living. And I'm your host, Dwight Michael Berridge. I'm certainly delighted for another opportunity to be here once again. Today on the program, I want to talk about parts of speech. In particular, I want to talk about the part of speech which is called noun. There are 8 parts of speech, and we want to deal with the nouns. So topic, part of speech, or subtopic, nouns. Why are parts of speech important? Why is it necessary to learn about the parts of speech in English grammar? The words lift, run, is, jump, fly, they all have one thing in common. They represent an action or being. Such words are called verbs. Do you call these words verbs? They are action words or doing words. There are 8 parts of speech. The other parts of speech are nouns, prepositions, conjunctions, interjections, adjectives, adverbs, interjections. And as we learn more about these parts of speech, we will get a better understanding of how to use words effectively. I'm going to read a paragraph for you, and I want you to pay close attention as I read it. I want you to try to look for things, verbs, or if you hear any parts of speech. I just said a verb is an action word, a word that represents a state of being. I'm going to read a paragraph, and I want you to think about your perception of what I would have read. Last week we were at the amusement park, and it was the best visit we were ever on. However, the trip was poor at the start, for the traffic was very low. Finally, we were there, but as we were on the way to the main gate, there was the sight of a long line of people. Fortunately, the line was much faster than our expectations were. Once inside the gate, we were not wasteful of time over what ride to be on next, because we were in possession of a plan of attack. By the end of the day, we had been on more rides than ever before. I will never be forgetful of that day. I've read that paragraph. What event does the entire paragraph describe? Can you identify 5 parts of speech that were used in the paragraph that I read? What are the verbs alike? For each verb that you identified, list another verb that might describe the action more vividly. So we talk about an amusement park, and one thing that struck me, if you listened carefully, the previous paragraph, you would find that contains no verbs except the verb. You heard this a lot: was or were. Last week we were at the amusement park. It was the best visit we were on. However, the trip was poor at the start, for the traffic was very slow. That verb, the past tense of the verb to be, was or were, was used very frequently. Those were the only verbs used. The other verbs of being, and it's a verb of being, the verb to be. In the paragraph, I'm going to read it now, and I'm going to replace was a verb with a more interesting verb. In many cases, I'm going to avoid the use of was and were. Last week, we went to the amusement park. It turned out to be the best visit we ever made. However, the trip started poorly because the traffic crept along so quickly. Finally, we arrived, but as we walked to the main gate, we saw a long line of people. Fortunately, the line shrank much faster than we expected. Once we moved past the gate, we wasted no time over what ride to go on next, because we had developed a plan of attack. By the end of the day, we had gone on more rides than ever before. I will never forget that day. So I used went, I used made, started, moved. These are some of the verbs all were used, all more vivid verbs than was or were. So we have to improve the way in which we use verbs in our writing. And we have to understand what a verb is and how it functions in a sentence. And so the same is true of the other parts of speech, nouns, adjectives, etc. So what we're going to do now, we're going to talk about nouns. We're going to talk about nouns. And a noun is a word that names a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. So we have name is a name of a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. Okay? So what are persons? Examples of nouns that are persons, names of persons: police officer, Mr. Weeks, Mr. Black, brother, sister. Places would be like St. Kitts, New Jersey, pond, garage. Things, example, glove, rabbit. The rabbit is an animal, a thing, right? Places to visit. This is the name of a book. Places to visit is a thing. An idea: justice, fellowship, indifference. Now, days. It's important to know that days of the week and the month and months of the year and dates are also classified as nouns. So 1983, 1963, May the 10th, the year 1764, Tuesday, these are all classified as nouns. A noun is a word that names a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. Alright. There are different kinds of nouns. There are common nouns. There are collective nouns. There are concrete, abstract nouns. In fact, as I Google the different kinds of nouns, here are some types of nouns and examples. A common noun refers to a general idea or object, such as a person, a place, a thing. For example, cat, house, girl, foot. Common nouns are not capitalized unless they begin a sentence. Proper noun refers to a specific person, place, or thing. For example, India, Fido, and Sony. Proper nouns are always capitalized. Proper nouns and common nouns. Singular nouns refer to one person, place, or thing. For example, a cat and a banana. Plural nouns refer to multiple people, places, or things. For example, shoes. Concrete nouns can be perceived through 5 senses. For example, table, apple, rabbit, and ear. Abstract nouns refer to ideas such as happiness, joy, love, peace. Collective nouns, we spoke about that already. Material nouns refer to materials such as gold, aluminum, iron, or plastic. And uncountable nouns refer to objects or ideas that cannot be counted, such as abundance or tolerance. So here we have We have material and uncountable nouns. Okay, so let us give you an example. What we're going to do today, the objective is to identify the kinds of nouns that are used in one sentence. So, based on what I've said, I'm going to put an example here, and it reads as this. Let me write it on the board. English for Daily Living with Dwight Michael Beveridge. So we write it on the board. It says here, an army of ants attacked our picnic, our picnic. When we sat near Round Hill. When we sat near Round Hill. All right. So we are going to, on a list of paper, you can grab a paper, you at home or wherever you may be. You grab a paper, list the nouns in the following in the sentence. We have, for example, step 1, we have proper or common noun. Looking for proper, common noun. Also looking for compound nouns. Then we are looking for a collective noun, if there are any. Remember we said that the common noun is names a class of people, places, or things or ideas. The compound noun, it consists of words used together to form a single noun. 4 kinds of compound nouns. One kind is formed by joining 2 or more words. For example, stagecoach. A second consists of words joined by hyphens. Example, father-in-law, father hyphen in hyphen law. And the third kind of consists of words that are often used together even though they are not joined, like radio wave, okay, radio station. The fourth kind is a name that consists of more than one word, like Leroy Weeks, Dwight Eisenhower, John Black, Peter Brown, Mary Scott, Julie Andrew, etc. And the collective noun refers to a group of people, places, or things or ideas. Like committee. The committee debated the proposal for 4 hours. A flock of geese is flying south. It is sometimes difficult to tell whether a collective noun takes a singular verb or a plural verb. But that's for another time and for another program. Alright, so an army of ants attacked our picnic when we sat near Round Hill. Let's get back to this. Let's identify the nouns. So we have army, we have ants, we have picnic, we have Round Hill. Do we all agree about these nouns? Yes. And so army, what kind of noun is army? Is it a proper noun or a common noun? Alright, if you said it's a common noun, that is correct. Army. Army of ants. Army. It's a common noun. But we have army of ants. It's also, army can also be a collective noun because we have of ants. Remember we said collective noun refers to a group of people, places, things, or ideas. So army of ants. Army can now also be a collective noun. It's also a collective noun. Right. Attacked or picnic. Attack is the verb. Picnic is the next noun. What kind of noun is picnic? Okay, it's not capitalized, so it's a common noun. Picnic. All right. And when we sat near Round Hill, so Round Hill, capital letter Round Hill, it would have to be a proper noun. Round Hill, and it's also two. We have two nouns here. Round Hill, two names. Round Hill. So it's also what we call a compound noun. Two words. All right. Let's give you one to do, and then we'll bring the program to a close. So try this one. We are going to identify the four types of nouns here. A flock of larks in the back of the yard. A flock of larks is in the back of the yard toward Stevenson Avenue. Let's write that on the board. A flock of larks is in the back of the yard towards Stevenson Avenue. Stevenson Avenue. Okay. So we're going again, we're looking again, we're going again for compound, proper, common, compound, or collective. Let's go ahead and identify the nouns. Flock of larks. So we have flock, we have larks, back, yard, Stevenson, and Avenue. Just like this one here. So we have flock of larks. Flock, it would have to be a common noun, and it also a collective, because flock of larks, grouping together. So we have flock, also collective. Larks would be a common noun. Okay, the back of the yard. So we have back, common, yard, common. Proper noun, Stevenson Avenue. And it's also a compound noun. We have two nouns called Stevenson and Avenue. Together would be compound noun. Today, on the program, we looked at the first part of speech in a series of presentations, nouns. There are 8 parts of speech in the English grammar, and today we discussed 4 kinds of nouns, which are common and proper, compound and collective. I do hope and trust that you learned something from today's edition of English for Daily Living, and until I come your way again next time with another edition, I'm Dwight Michael Berridge saying, I'm out of here.
You've been viewing English for Daily Living, a program geared towards helping non-native speakers of English develop their listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills. Hope that you did learn something on today's edition. Look forward to seeing you next time on English for Daily Living. Bye-bye.